18.
Hello and welcome to Newscentre. With me, Parikshit Luthra. The political turmoil in Rajasthan Congress is our top focus today. Congress may have swung into damage control mode. Observers have recommended that Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot be kept out of the Congress presidential race. The recommendation comes after over 90 legislators loyal to Chief Minister Gehlot have put forth their resignations to Assembly Speaker. The resignations came right before the scheduled Congress Legislature Party meeting to decide on his successor. The MLAs were miffed with the leadership who were reportedly looking at Sachin Pilot take charge of the Chief Minister's post once Gehlot gets elected as the party president. Remember, Pilot led a failed rebellion against Ashok Gehlot a few years ago. Joining me now to take this forward is political analyst Desh, Ratan, Nigam and senior journalist Sharat Pradhan. Sharat Pradhan, how do you see this rebellion in the Rajasthan Congress? This is an open defiance of Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi's leadership. What signal does it really send out?
Well, it simply, in a nutshell, what it conveys is a lack of adequate leadership in the party. And it's, it is typical of the Congress to be going on a suicidal path. And this, had it not been, I think there is lack of leadership. When I say, it means that if such a development was taking place, and the Congress president had sent her nominees there to take, as observers, which is Lalit Makan and Khadge. Now, there was every reason for them to be knowing that such a development was taking place. So it reflects poor leadership. And I will also not be surprised if, this is an occasion for the BJP to jump. And it is like giving it to the BJP on a platter and a chance to strike their Operation Lotus, as it is called. Because these are the kind of things one had witnessed in Punjab. I don't know why the Congress doesn't wake up, especially at a time when Rahul Gandhi was carrying out this much publicized Bharat Jodo Yatra, and which was seeming to get some success somewhere, was making dents at the right places. And at this juncture, if this kind of a development takes place in a state like Rajasthan, where Congress has been doing pretty well, shows that there is something wrong somewhere. And I would also not be surprised if there could be a BJP hand behind it. It could be anything. It is also lack of leadership of the Congress. At the same time, if Congress allows BJP to mess up with them in this manner, then it is also a bigger shame for the Congress.
Right. All right, Desh, Ratan, Nigam, to come to you, do you think this crisis could have been avoided? Could things in Rajasthan, the transition for Ashok Gehlot from Rajasthan to the Congress party president's post, could it have been handled better?
Parikshit, no, it could not have been handled better, because the underlying cause, one has to pay attention to the underlying cause. The underlying cause is that the Sonia and family wants to wield power without any accountability. Hence, they wanted a puppet president. And once you want a puppet president, and Gehlot knew about it very clearly, therefore he did not want to give up his CM's post. And the actual power resides in the state. He would have been a puppet president, which he clearly knew. And therefore, the real cause of the entire crisis is the de facto control of the Congress party through a puppet president by Sonia and family. Till that changes, nothing will change in the Congress. And there is a clear possibility that once you allow two factions to fight, and in fact manufacture their fight, the central leadership manufactures the fight in the state, then both these leaders weaken and the central leadership becomes strong, which is a standard operating procedure when you divide and rule. That is exactly what is happening. Yes, Gehlot and Sachin Pilot have a history, animosity and rivalry both, and 2020 episode is also very clear. But if you recall, Gehlot has always become a CM at the expense of somebody else. CP Joshi in 2008, and subsequently in 2018, when it was said the Sachin Pilot was actually responsible for the Congress's win in Rajasthan, he again became the president. So because of his closeness or sycophancy with the Sonia and family. So if you look at the entire, chain of events,
right,
this was bound to happen. It could not have been handled better because the underlying cause is very different. It is not mere rivalry between Gehlot and the Pilot camp. It lies with the central leadership. Central leadership does not want to lose control in any way of their control over the Congress. And secondly, say for example, it is accepted that Gehlot is out of the race, then Shashi Tharoor, there is a chance that Shashi Tharoor becomes the president of the party. Then will he be a problem for the Sonia and family? Because he carries a lot of independent mind. But then he has got certain criminal cases against him, which are still pending against him. That is also an issue with the Congress has to handle.
All right. Mr. Nigam, we'll have to wait and see who all filed their nominations. Shashi Tharoor has taken a form for the post of Congress president. He will be filing his nomination. That is what we hear. Ashok Gehlot, the reports now coming in is that he may not file his nomination at all. Sharat, Pradhan, we believe that Kamal Nath will now be holding meetings with Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. Do you think that he could be their choice of candidate, even though they say they will be neutral in this election? He will be the person whom they will be indirectly backing in this election? Possible choice, maybe a good choice. What do you feel?
No, well, it may good or bad, one cannot say at this juncture what Kamal Nath used to be and what Kamal Nath is. We have seen how he handled his own state and virtually lost power. The point is that, you know, what is being missed out and what the BJP minds are thinking is very clearly evident. You know, what is being overlooked is the fact that Sachin Pilot had the way he had been bought over by the BJP. It was an open secret. The manner in which he was sitting in their lap in Manesar, when he tried to wean away Congress MLAs, and he failed in his mission. After that, there was no reason for the Congress party to have given him this kind of importance that he got. Fine, he's a young, enthusiastic leader, but that doesn't mean that you should be betraying the party. Ashok Gehlot, for that matter, has never betrayed the party. He has, and he's also been very loyal to the Gandhis. To say that he has stage managed this sounds quite ridiculous. That why should he be doing it? If he did not want to become the Congress president, or they say as puppet president, which is laughable, then, you know, he could have stopped. He is holding fort in Rajasthan, and everybody knows that he has his own, because if that was not the case, then 92 out of the 108 MLAs would not have stood up in his support and against Sachin Pilot. Sachin Pilot has got a very sorry figure in this whole game, but there seems to be, that is why I suspect that there could be a BJP hand, because Sachin had played into the BJP hands, and he could have become an instrument again in pushing himself in this case, so that this was very natural for Ashok Gehlot to have reacted in this manner. And with all these people, I mean, I don't believe that all these MLAs could have resigned without the concurrence of Ashok Gehlot. But there is something else cooking, and BJP with all its with what is called the Lotus Operation Lotus, so it could be trying this anywhere.
Right.
And how vicious can they get?
All right. So let's wait and see. All right, let's wait and see. We still have about 3 days to go for the nomination period to end. Let's wait and see what happens in this election for the Congress president, also the rebellion in Rajasthan. But clearly, the leadership is upset with Ashok Gehlot, and Ashok Gehlot has made it very clear that he will not have anything to do with Sachin Pilot when it comes to the Chief Minister's position. We've run out of time, but Desh, Ratan, Nigam, Sharat, Pradhan, thank you very much for joining us here on Newscentre. We're going to take a short break, but coming up, rumours surrounding President Xi Jinping flood social media. We'll get you a fact check from China after this short break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Newscentre. Spotlight on the auto sector. Just as Navratri begins, Maruti Suzuki has unveiled its mid-size SUV, the Grand Vitara. The model is the brand's new flagship offering. The base variant has been priced at just over 10 lakh rupees. 10.45 lakhs ex-showroom to be precise. It is equipped with hybrid powertrains and includes 6 airbags in its safety features. The Grand Vitara will compete with the likes of Kia Seltos, Hyundai Creta, Volkswagen Tiguan, Tata Harrier, among others. We're now joined by Shashank Srivastava, Executive Director at Maruti Suzuki. Mr. Srivastava, thank you very much for joining us today. The pricing for the Grand Vitara has been revealed. Creta will be your biggest rival. Tell us how you will be taking on the Creta and the likes of the XUVs, the Scorpios, the MG Hectors, the Harrier, the Safari in this segment.
I think this segment, the mid SUV segment, is one of the most important segments within the SUV. And as you know, SUV segment is also the largest now in the entire industry. One of the reasons why Maruti's market share has been pulled down a little bit, our non-SUV market share upward of 65%, but when you include SUVs, it falls down to around 45%. And the reason is that we didn't have an offering in the mid SUV segment. The mid SUV segment last year was almost 5.5 lakh units, 18% of the overall market. So our entry in this segment would definitely see an increased volume for us, as also our objective of getting increased market share. And on what type of customers we are appealing to, actually the Grand Vitara is a whole range of SUVs. So you have the manual transmission and the automatic transmission in the mild hybrid form, as also the four-wheel drive, the Suzuki all-grade, and then that strong hybrid intelligent electric vehicle that we have on the upper end. So it will appeal to a large number of customers, and that is the beauty of this segment. We hope to attract and take volumes from fresh customers, as also many of our competitors who are operating in this segment.
How many bookings have you received, sir? And how many will you deliver during Navratri, during Diwali?
So at the moment, today morning, we had crossed the 57,000 booking number. The production just started, and I would expect that during the next 1 month, probably we should be looking at around 5,000 or so deliveries.
Okay, looking at 5,000 deliveries in October. And what would be the number for the whole festive season?
So if you're talking of the Grand Vitara, this is the number because we just started sale today. So we are expecting the ramp up of production to happen subsequently. So obviously with 57,000 bookings, we are looking at much larger numbers when the production ramps up in the subsequent months.
Okay, Mr. Srivastava, also explain us the pricing strategy, because the strong hybrid version is 50,000 more expensive than the High Rider. The mild hybrid version is 20,000 cheaper than the High Rider. So how does this really work? How have you arrived at the pricing for this vehicle?
Yeah, so this question has been asked to me since morning a couple of times. Actually, first thing is that it is not, we are not really benchmarking the High Rider. Because High Rider, as you know, is also a new entrant in this segment. And there are many players, and you listed them out when you began this show in your opening remarks, how Creta, Seltos, Harrier, Tygoon, and all those vehicles are also there. So it really our strategy was to look at the entire range of consumers who would like to take the vehicle and take advantage of the fact that we have such a large number of variants. I just mentioned the two-wheel drive. We had the four-wheel drive all-grade. Then you have the 680 version, and you also have the intelligent electric hybrid, the strong hybrid system. So we were looking at across the board, and obviously we have to compete not just with High Rider in the market, but also with these other models. And as regards the 50,000 extra on the strong hybrid that you mentioned, we have also introduced a package, a introductory package for the consumers on extended warranty, a 5-year, 100,000 kilometer extended full extended warranty, and accessory package of almost 40,000 bucks. So that is totaling about 70,000 rupees benefit. So that has been done only because we wanted to make sure that there is an early adoption of the strong hybrids for the Grand Vitara.
Okay, we've run out of time, sir, but one quick question. If we speak about Maruti Suzuki in total, not just the Grand Vitara, how many deliveries can we expect in this month?
Yeah, so it's still, I think it's premature, but I can see if you look at the festive period, normally of the total annual volumes, about 26 to 27% of the total volumes come from this period, festive period. So we'll have to see how the production goes in accordance with the underlying demand pattern. So I'm not in a position to give you an exact number at this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Srivastava, always great talking to you. Thank you very much for being with us on Newscentre. Moving on, ahead of a crucial meeting of the Chinese Communist Party's 20th National Conference, there have been rumors of a coup and arrest of President Xi Jinping. Several Twitter handles claimed that the PLA had taken control and that 6,000 international domestic flights had been stopped. While there has been no formal statement from the Chinese Foreign Ministry, the CCP has elected all delegates for the meeting on the 16th of October, where President Xi is expected to secure an unprecedented third term. Let's go across to Anant Krishnan, China correspondent for The Hindu, joining us from Beijing. Anant, has there been any response from the Chinese government to the social media handles that have been active over the weekend?
There has been no response, and I think it's expected there is no response because I don't think they want to give credence to those rumors. And from my own point of view, Parikshit, being here in Beijing, it's been quite surreal to see all of this social media speculation when the fact is actually there is zero evidence to suggest any of these rumors that have been spreading, starting with some overseas Chinese websites in the US, and then later picked up on some Indian social media handles as well. And I think that it's been quite surreal to see it because there's no such thing as, military movements that are extraordinary in Beijing. Life here in the Chinese capital this weekend has been as normal. And as you point out, Parikshit, on Sunday, you had the Chinese Communist Party take a closer step to the October 16th Congress, while they announced the list of delegates. President Xi Jinping is among those delegates, as expected. And my reading, Parikshit, is he'll come out of this Congress next month in full control over the party, the state, and the military for the next 5 years. And I think there's nothing to indicate to the contrary.
Right. Have any analysts in China, have any of the papers there reported anything on this Twitter controversy that has been going on? Any view coming in as to why these are emerging just ahead of the party Congress?
I think that there hasn't been any commenting by analysts in China or papers in China. And it's interesting to also note, Parikshit, it hasn't really been picked up by international media organizations. And it seems to be something limited to a few overseas Chinese websites, as well as I think the Indian media has picked up these rumors as well, in my view, to a surprising degree. I think that it is common to see these rumors in overseas Chinese websites in political seasons in China. And especially this is a particularly sensitive year because it's a once in 5 year party Congress, which will see Xi Jinping finish 10 years at the helm. It's also because there is some disquiet in China over the zero COVID policies of the Xi Jinping government. And recently, last week, Parikshit, you had the sentencing of 3 senior party officials who, by the party's own account, had, quote, endangered China's political security, which means they challenged Xi. So I think all of this made for an interesting cocktail which fed rumors, and it tends to happen during political season in China, but I would urge people to take it with a few grains of salt.
All right. And finally, Anant, on 16th, we expect President Xi to secure an unprecedented third term. What will this mean for President Xi and his hold over the political establishment in China?
I think the most interesting thing to look, Parikshit, would be how much damage the current state of the Chinese economy, which is the worst in many, many years, as well as the zero COVID policy, whether it has any damage on Xi Jinping's ambitions in filling the next Politburo with his own people. I think that'll be the most interesting thing to take away from the Congress. I think it's a done deal that he's going to be in charge for 5 years, but it's an open question how much of the next leadership will be Xi Jinping's own people and how much he's going to have to compromise to others in the party. I think that's going to be something to keep an eye on, Parikshit, when it concludes in the end of October.
All right. Anant Krishnan, thank you very much for joining us here on CNBC-TV18. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Newscentre. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.